What's going on? We get the Boston Celtics. It's Dukes and Bell on Sports Radio 92.9 The Game. We start off every day and every hour by saying, hey, man, what a win last night. As I said on social media, this is why they play the games. I told you guys that I did not trust, nor did I have the faith that this team was going to be able to show up in a big spot. And I have a right to feel that way because I'm vested. I'm all in. I go to the games. I support the team. I talk to the players. I talk to the people in the front office. It's okay to have an opinion about your team. But when your team shows out as they did last night, and they show up the way they showed up last night, you have to put your hands together and say, hell of a win. That's what we've been waiting for all season.
Yes.
Now, Mike, the bigger question is, and I think a lot of Hawks fans have asked this question today, why haven't we gotten more of this throughout the season?
Well, that was pure hustle. That was working the boards, man. That was everything we've talked about. That was great defensive presence. By the way, Jimmy, by the way, we got to talk about this. Shaq was clearly in the Hawks' corner from the jump, and Charles was having none of it. Charles did sound, I got to be honest, Chuck, I know he listens, like a petulant child after the Hawks dispatched the Heat.
$1 billion.
But last night, I mean, that's hustle.
He's got it, by the way.
That's hustle. He does. But
He's got it.
Working the glass. I mean, think about when's the last time you saw a Hawk game where they would get 2 rebounds in a row, kick it, transition baskets, all the stuff we always thought we were going to see at some point this year or since 21. It all happened last night. Butler had a bad night. He admitted it. And, I got to say, Kyle Lowry was on fire, but our bench was still better than theirs in total. Just an unbelievable effort. And you and I give us some credit. We said Jalen Johnson. I said maybe he can be the X factor. Jalen Johnson had some big moments in that game last night.
Energy dude, man. They're not running plays for Jalen Johnson. He's just making stuff happen. This was a team effort because, Mike, the bench was incredible. Sadiq Bey, Bogey, Onyeka. All of these guys off the bench, including JJ, that's Jalen Johnson, 53 points off the bench, okay? That has not happened this year. That's not the norm for our team. So when you get bench production, when you rebound the way that our team rebounded last night, specifically on the offensive glass, and then your star, Trey, shows up, you get dubs. This is an easy formula, Mike. You said it. Now, how are we going to beat the Celtics? We got plenty of time to talk about that. Game 1 is Saturday. We know we're now in a 7-game series. We have clinched the 7th seed. But I'm going to tell you, I think the Celtics feel relieved because they were worried about the Heat.
And remember, guys, you got to go all the way back to like Zaza Pachulia days when the Celtics, anything is possible for Kevin Garnett. The Hawks, overwhelming underdogs with Al Horford and a whole lot of nothing. Took those guys, Carl, to 7 games.
Yep.
So I know that we've seen, I know that's 15 years ago now, but it was one where nobody gave us a shot, and we certainly took a really good Celtics team to the wire. Look, when this team plays like they did last night, then, yes, anything is possible. Defensive commitment, rebounding commitment, good decisions by Trey. Only 5 turnovers last night from Trey. Yeah, I mean, there was a couple of he was trying to create. He threw some balls into traffic, but that's the only thing I think you could complain about last night from Trey.
Yeah, and here's the deal. We've said this. I think there's this misconception about maybe – I'm just going to say me. I don't know about everybody else's opinion. I've not complained about Trey's point production or his assists. What I have complained about as our team went through this turmoil and this time of uncertainty as we were just kind of, blowing in the wind and who's going to be the coach and are these guys coachable and all this stuff was going on, I needed him to be a more mature star. Right. Now, I've said this. I give Trey the benefit of the doubt. He's 24 years old. I said this many times. He's 24. At 28, he's going to be a different dude, and he'll be more mature, and his kid will be a little bit older, and all the things that happen in your life will happen in his. But the fact of the matter is, when you are the highest paid guy on the team, a star in this league, and one of the elite players in the NBA, you have to start talking when things are not going right. That's only been my concern. The only thing I've been concerned about. I've not been concerned about Mike is 28 and 10. Right. He's a dude. He's going to show up. He's going to score.
Look, we were ticked off the dude didn't make the All-Star team. I mean, again, I don't know what's going on. And look, maybe we're watching this transformation that's happening right now in the last few weeks. As far as the things, I've heard him say some things I haven't heard him say before. I think there's more maturity. I think there's situational awareness. And and we said it's a small part of an article, and if you want to discount it, fine. But everybody in the country picked up on it, and now everyone's losing their minds. But I think sometimes when you hear that, what? They trade me? trade me.
Let me show you.
I don't know if that creates a little sense of urgency. If so,
I do,
great.
Mike. I do. Listen.
I know it affected me in my career.
Well,
anytime I heard that line.
I do. Here's the deal. Some people think they're untouchable. Nobody is. And even when you're a superstar in the NBA, the idea is, well, they won't do that. I just think this was a message more than anything. If you're serious about winning, you always look at all possibilities. You just don't say, well, we'll keep whoever is that we need to keep. You don't do that. You look at everything. Last night was a great win. I hope we're not talking about trading anybody moving forward. Let's get through this Celtics series. Mike, if we are able to win this series, by the way, Celtics 3-0 versus us this year. We've not beaten them, okay? They shoot the ball against us better than anybody else beyond the arc, 47%. We're going to have to guard the three, and they're one of the better three-point shooting teams. But, Mike, if we're able to get through this series, we might be shocking the world. We might be talking about something special if we are able to go on this kind of run. But it's going to take the effort we saw last night.
It's so funny because it was a turmoil kind of year with Nate getting fired, and then you bring in Quinn Snyder. If you go back to 2000, just for guys who follow the history of the Hawks, which I do, because like many fans, I'm a like Rob Tribble just talked about last hour, a lifelong, long-suffering Hawks fan. The year back in 07-08, Danny Ferry was still the boss. He wanted to blow things up.
Yes, he did.
He wanted to move everybody. He wanted to get rid of Al Horford. We talked about that. But that team with Joe Johnson and Josh Smith, and Mike Bibby at point. How about that? And that team gave the Celtics everything they could handle. So, look, if the Celtics feel like, to Carl's point, dodged a bullet because the Heat gave them everything they could handle, took them to 7 games last year in the Eastern Conference Finals, then they think we're a pushover, and maybe this is the new look Hawks. Hey, I'm just glad that they took this step. And I never want to come on the radio and say, no, don't embarrass yourself. Once you're in something, you strive to win something.
Oh, yeah.
Period.
Yeah. Look, there'll be everybody around the country, just like last night, who will say, we'll get swept in this series. Let me see.
Right.
Duke says, let me see. I want to see if these guys show up. Just like last night. We left the show, Mike. We cleared our throat. What did I say? Just show up. They did. And so now they get a couple of days rest. We will see how things shake out. But listen, Tatum and Brown coming home. He's a hometown kid, okay? Jaylen Brown, Wheeler High School, he wants to show out. He's going to be ready to play. But the idea that we can't beat the Celtics in a 7-game series, I'm not even going to say it. I'm not going to go there because I truly believe that anything can happen in these 7-game series.
Holding the Heat to 105, as we said, tough day at the office for the guy that was making the proclamation. When we play up to their level, Jimmy Butler making it sound like the Hawks were an afterthought, and Jimmy Buckets is the leader, but last night he just wasn't feeling anything around the basket, if we're honest. But this thing is, this team, you saw it. I mean, Quinn, I know it's cliched when Quinn says if everybody plays up to their potential.
Yep.
That's what you saw last night. And I got to be honest, with this team, this is, yes, 24-point lead. You're watching that thing erode. They go on that run before the half, and they go on another run. But the Hawks were able to take the shots, and then DeJounte hits a big three, right? You get in the big moments. Trey gets to the basket, gets to the free throw line. Trey hits a big three. Anytime they looked like they were getting momentum, the Hawks stopped it and kept him at arm's length to get it back to 10-point lead. That's clutch. That's the clutch we've been looking for all season.
Yeah, and I know, it was funny because I think I tweeted out last night, and follow Mike. He's Mike Bell, ATL. I'm at Put 'em Up. See Dukes, the radio show. Dukes and Bell 929. Follow the radio station at 929 The Game. Stay up on everything that's going on, guys, across all social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, and follow us on Twitch at ATL 929 The Game. You can see what's going on in the studio, and we're on YouTube as well at 929 The Game. I said Trey showing up and showing out. And immediately, you know what I got? We gonna Hawk. They gonna blow it. I'm not ready to say anything yet. Why are you scared? Like, I get it. I understand. And Mike, it was a 24-point lead at one point.
Yeah, we're students of history.
Yeah, and then they cut it to 6. And this year, I understand we've blown leads. But, like, in this moment, right, everybody wants to enjoy the day, and we should certainly commend our team and our coaches and everybody. It was a big damn win in franchise history. It just was. But this attitude, man, like, we're up 24, and I know they cut it, but Mike's right. They kept cutting the lead, and we kept answering.
Yeah, there was a sequence. I'll give you just a sequence with that 9 minutes in the third quarter. They cut it down to 7. Sadiq Bey with a big jump shot. They cut it down to 8. Boom. You get a DeJounte Murray, a jump shot. Again, DeJounte Murray, intermediate jump shot. When he gets the legs under, he short arms a lot of stuff sometimes. Front of the rim. Last night, he was much more accurate with that. The only thing you could complain about last night is the thing that we complain about almost every night with this team. And that was DeAndre Hunter.
Yep.
Capella,
I'm sorry?
DeAndre Hunter.
Who?
Yeah. First off, he gets in foul trouble. He can't finish. It's like you get open looks in the NBA, you got to make it count. And that's the one. It's one thing a contested basket is one thing. You can open jump shots, hit it. So that's the guy. If he ever gets on track, because remember his big calling card was Game 5 last year against the Heat. Imagine what this team could do.
I'm over it. He can go.
I'm with you too. I got no problem with that. I don't see it. It's not there, and they wasted money on it.
Mike, I can get a lesser tier player to do what DeAndre Hunter is doing right now for this team. And I felt that way for a year and a half. And many of you said, why are you blaming DeAndre Hunter? I don't know. Maybe because he was the 4th overall pick in the NBA draft. And usually those guys ball out. Right. Trey was a top 5 pick. Luka was a top 5 pick. This guy was a top 5 pick. And I'm not getting anything close to what a top 5 pick should be giving me.
Nope. Period.
All right. Hawks win in spite of DeAndre Hunter's performance last night. 6 points, just not enough. But credit to everybody else that stepped up. Jalen Johnson is carving out a niche for himself.
I mean, you know what? I think next home, I guess it'll be next week we get the home game against the Celtics. First 2 up in Boston. I think I'm going to pop a Jalen Johnson jersey, brother. Yeah. I think I'm going for it.
Well,
that's that dude. I like the cut of his jersey.
He's a nice kid. I'll tell you that. He really is. He's a cool guy to be around.